Hey, Okayest fam, welcome to the podcast where it's okay to embrace the chaos, celebrate the wins, and laugh at the mishaps while navigating the wild ride of marriage, parenting, and everything in between with humor, honesty, and a healthy dose of humility, and of course, the more than occasional bad joke. Join us in being perfectly okay with being the okayest. The Okayest Husbands Podcast with your hosts, Christian, Nick, and Nowak.
Absolutely. And remember, if you want to stay connected with us beyond the airways, you can check us on our social media platforms. You can find us on Twitter or X, whatever it is, Instagram, the TikToks, and Facebook for all the behind-the-scenes shenanigans.
And hey, it's a Nowak, and if you got those burning questions for us, or some fan mail, and you just want to shoot us the breeze, drop us an email at theokayesthusbands@gmail.com, just like Catfish does every about 36 hours, it seems. We promise to reply faster than you can say this podcast is the okayest. Also, you may want to subscribe to our YouTube channel now. And if you do, remember, you got to like and share us. And even on our podcast, make sure you do that. Make sure you get those downloads.
Say, slam that
subscribe button.
Ring the bell.
Whether it be on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast, you can subscribe, rate, and review us. You know, on whatever app it is you're using, whether it be Spotify, Podcast Addicts, Apple Podcasts, whatever, you know, just get your podcast fix. It's like giving us a virtual high five, but it's 5 stars.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Okayest Husbands, where we strive to be just good enough. Not perfect, not awful, but okayest, if you will. We're diving deep into an article today by romanceyourmate.worldpress.com. It's a prestigious hub of all things relation advice. This one is entitled Top 10 Things Husbands Want from Their Wives. This article promises to reveal the secrets of what us husbands really want. Spoiler alert, it's not just the remote and pizza. So grab your notepad, folks, because we're about to explore the male psyche and probably learn why we're the okayest and not the best husbands. So let's get started with number one on the list.
We were talking about this a little bit last night while we were hanging out, that we were going to do this one.
Yeah.
And both of the wives, sex.
Yeah, that's it. That's all they said.
That's all men want.
No.
That's not true.
There's a lot of things I want.
But evidently there's 10 of them, and I'm not sure that's right.
There's 68 and I owe her one.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. All right, number one on the list is believe in his capabilities. It says to look in the dictionary, define support. You'll see the phrases like being an advocate, provide for, strengthen, to keep from weakening and failing, bearing weight, and keep from falling, sinking, and slipping.
Well, that I agree with, because when I started my job, one of the things I told my wife was, I'm going to be a millionaire one day. Not once did I say I'm going to make $1 million, but I'm going to be worth $1 million. And she goes, yeah, right.
Well, you have to make well over $1 million to be worth $1 million.
No, you don't.
What?
You factor in your cars, your house, all your liquid assets.
Oh, so all your debt is included into your $1 million?
Well, that takes you away from your...
Not what Trump does.
That takes away from your $1 million, like of what you...
Yeah, that's what I'm...
That's what that means.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
But I'll be worth $1 million someday, whether it be all of my investments for retirement, everything.
So you were just asking her to believe in your capabilities, to make the ride with you.
Yep.
Yeah, in other words, be respectful of your decisions, right? So that they have faith in you.
Yeah.
Which my wife does that whenever I do a project in our house. That way it gets done.
So she believes in your capabilities just that long.
Yeah, I don't really believe in my capabilities, but she will be like, yeah, you could do this, and then eventually gets done. Like our shower's not completely done, but I did that over spring break, and I had to put in new walling and everything like that, and
So
it took
still
me
working
a week.
on it?
It just needs to be painted. That's all it needs to. I need to paint it and put primer down and all that stuff. But otherwise, the bath itself is done, and we've been using it, and yeah. You know, all the free time I have.
No shower heads falling off or anything yet.
No. And we got one of the rain shower ones, but I pulled the because there's like a little rubber gasket in there you can
Yeah.
pull out, and you
Yeah.
get the better flow.
Yeah, get a little extra
it's-
water.
It's so nice. Oh, it's a lot more than a little.
I do want Emily to believe in my capabilities, and I think a lot of times she doesn't. Like, I started putting together our new sink. So we got a new sink. I installed it completely and started hooking up all the plumbing. I ran into one problem was when I shut off the hot water, there was a leak at the valve. So in the copper piping,
Yeah.
I couldn't do copper piping.
Why?
Why couldn't I do copper piping?
Just go get a solder gun.
It's way more than just getting a solder gun. To be able to cut it, like, is crazy. Like,
Cutting it's not bad. I mean,
pipe
I was
cutter.
doing that with my shower. I learned to sweat pipes. My father-in-law taught me how to sweat pipes, and
they don't even sweat them anymore.
No,
they
they
just
just-
crimp them now.
Yeah,
that's the machine that cost a ton of
Oh,
money.
that's what you were doing. Well, we went to Plex, or Plex.
Well, we couldn't do that because we have a house that's the same age as I am, 48 years old almost, and it's all copper piping. If I would have changed it, I would have had to change all the way down into the basement.
No, you don't. You just need it. It still requires some sweating. You need to do a copper fixture that goes to PEX. That
I'm sure he was sweating while he was doing it.
Oh,
So
dude,
we ended up having to have a plumber come in, and he ended up finishing up the plumbing. But I was completely upset by that because I had it. Until there was a leak at the actual shutoff, I had this taken care of, and I would have had it all installed by myself.
can see that.
I was proud of myself, but I don't think Emily ever believed in my capability of pulling it off. I might not be the most handyman in the world, but give me credit for what I can do.
Well, that's one of the things in my house also is, there's a lot of things that I think you and I have learned to do. Mm-hmm. We grew up in a household that you called someone.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, you didn't learn to do it. Like, I never learned to do, changing out electric outlets, lights, other things like that.
Right.
It was you called someone, they came and did it for you.
Yeah, we talked about this in the Honeydew episode that I was on, where I've done a shit ton of work to my house, and and then you get people who mow their lawns while we broadcast outside.
Well, hey, it's a beautiful day
It
here
is a
in
gorgeous
the
day.
northern Midwest, and
And then we're podcasting outside.
yeah, so you're gonna hear our neighborhood.
This is going to be a great episode now.
I'm going to go home and get my mower and ride it over here.
All right, so wives, you want to know ways to be supportive to help your husband? Here's a few bullet points that the article, once again from romanceyourmate.worldpress.com, has. And it says, first one is respect your spouse's personal decisions. That never happens in my house. My personal decisions are not respected hardly ever.
I don't even want personal decisions to be on there. Just respect your spouse.
That's a good one. You're absolutely right. Another bullet point says, show that you have faith in your mate. I think she shows me that she has faith.
I think this
I
was
get that.
written in Europe.
You think so?
Mate.
Could he just mow this part of the yard? Like,
He's working on it.
another bullet point says, be the shoulder to lean on when your spouse has a sinking feeling. Work together with your spouse to maintain balance in your life together. Don't be threatened by your spouse's accomplishments. This is a problem at my house. Everything ends up a competition at my house. Everything gets scored. So this is a problem. Like when I started working multiple jobs a couple years ago, Emily heard me telling other people that I was working multiple jobs, and she saw that as me saying she wasn't doing enough.
Oh.
That's what you told me.
Thanks, Nick. Good thing she doesn't listen. In wanting to help your spouse to rebound from difficult situations, don't try and solve your partner's problems. I have a little problem with that. I'm a solution-based person, so and it's much easier to fix other people's problems than my own, even my wife's.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2 on the list says, give them understanding. So we have number 1 on the list, being believe in their capabilities. Now we want to be understanding, because when we fuck shit up after you believed in our capability, we need understanding.
Because I'm going to fuck it up a little bit.
So here's why we got a bathroom remodel. One time we had a leak in our guest bathroom, just off the faucet, just a little leak. And I had just watched a YouTube video on how to fix a leak the exact same kind of leak. And I knew you had to take off the nozzle where the water came out of to pour into the tub. I could not find the little
Allen
wrench to unscrew it. I was looking all over. I was laying down in the tub looking underneath. My father-in-law had changed it before. So I called him up. I was like, hey, where's the Allen wrench? I was like, I can't find the little nut. And he says to me, he goes, no, yours doesn't have it. Just give it a good twist.
Yeah.
So I gave it a good twist, and the water fires the faucet all the way to the back wall. And I had to run downstairs and cut off the main water to the house because I broke all the pipes behind the wall.
Don't laugh. Be understanding.
No,
To her credit,
I am your friend. I'm going to shit on you for that.
Emily, to her credit, did not blame me. She was like, you did everything. I saw you looking for it. You called my dad. You did everything. So she was understanding in that moment.
I've had that happen. Couldn't tell you any instances, but I know it's happened where I fuck shit up and it gets worse.
I just opened my mouth.
Number 3, affirmation of his accomplishment.
Yes. I fucking did something good. You
I just want to be
me.
recognized in the house. I don't need to, hear about my accomplishment. Not just a shadow that sits in a corner.
Okay. So you want to be seen more than be affirmed of your accomplishments.
Right.
You don't want her to pat you on the back and tell her how great you did at work all last year.
No.
No.
I don't need that.
Says most guys like to be patted on the back. Compliment your husband often. Just don't overdo the sicky, sweet, oozy, how great he is type of affirmations, because those will fire back. Those will backfire. Sorry. Dyslexia.
They do fire back.
Well, that's like those people who like do that stuff on Facebook where they're like, oh, my love, that's always like this. And then you find out their marriage is just not
shambles.
That. Yeah.
Who was that one TikTok girl who's like in trouble now because she's harassing her ex-husband's new girlfriend?
What?
Yeah, she's pretty popular. Cat Gonzalez or something like that. They were doing couples things, and it was always all, oh, we love each other so much. And then one day they're both crying on a TikTok going, we need to announce that we're getting divorced. And I'm like, oh, what was all this lubby-dubby? But now she's under fire, though.
Now I got to look this up. She hot?
Yeah, she is. Number 4 on the list is acceptance. Many husbands are hurt and angered when their wives try to change them. Realize that the only person that you can change is yourself. My wife's totally changed me.
No, you decided to change for her.
Me.
Because she can't change you. You're the one that makes the changes. It just said that.
But she totally changed me. She changed me from being a caring, loving individual into a hardened asshole. I'm kidding.
Kind of.
I mean, I'm a loving, caring person who is also an asshole. That's how she changed me.
Everybody thinks I'm sarcastic.
Are you not?
No, I'm just an asshole.
Oh.
I mean, there are types of difficult spouses, the know-it-all, the negative thinker, the criticizer, the wishy-washy type, the silent clam, the bully. I think I live with every one of these.
If it's not your wife, it's your daughter.
I was going to say, which one is your wife of these? The know-it-all, the negative thinker, the criticizer, the wishy-washy type, the silent clam, which... I hope their clam is silent. The bully, the sickening sweet personality.
Behind, it's not.
The procrastinator, that's not my wife.
That's not my wife either.
The self-centered, selfish person, the demanding type, joker, embarrassing.
I'm the embarrassing spouse.
I'm totally the embarrassing.
I'm the last two.
Yeah.
The joker, the embarrassing, yeah, I'm probably those as well. I'm definitely the procrastinator in our relationship. I'm the sickening sweet one.
I'll be told I'm the negative thinker.
That's my wife. Oh, she goes down that road all the time.
You know what? I'm going to choose to not answer my own question. Which one is your wife? She's totally going to listen when I'm like, well, she's the criticizer. Can't do anything fucking right in my house. Which kind of leads to some bullying occasionally. She pulls my nose hairs and kicks me out of bed. Number 5 says that the 5th thing that we want as husbands from our wives is
Yes.
less chatter.
Yes. Shut your trap.
If your husband is tired or involved with a project, get to the point. If you want the details of the topic, he will ask for the details of the topic. So I think this is an important one for a lot of marriages. I don't think this is the case in my marriage. There's not a lot of chatter. Like, she asks a lot of detail of things. There was one time, Nick, you called me, and I picked up the phone, and I go, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's good. All right, bye. And she was like, who was that? I was like, Nick. She was like, what did he want? Who was talking about the podcast? What was he talking about? He had a podcast idea. What was it? I was like, an article. She goes, well, did he tell you about the article? He was like, no, he told me to read the article. And then she was asked another question. I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, we've now talked about this longer than him and I did. Like, my phone call was a minute and a half. We've now been talking about it for 10 minutes. This is weird.
In the less chatter, I don't know if that's the right way to put it. Because I want to talk with my wife.
Absolutely.
She's learned not to ask me details. You know, when someone calls me and I'm like, what? Who? Dead. And she's like, who died? I'm like, so-and-so from what? I don't know. You heard my conversation. She's like, all you said is what? Who dead? And I'm like, yeah.
So some of the tips it says in here is don't put off having difficult conversations, which I definitely agree with. The longer you put it off, the longer they fester. It makes it a little more difficult to be able to have a stressful conversation when you put it off for too long. Ways to address a difficult conversation is saying things. It says don't say things like, we have to talk.
Oh, yeah.
See, I found that it's better just to put it all off, bury it inside. Then one day have a stroke or a heart attack and just be done.
Your wife was telling you last night how much she loves when you say shit like that.
I know.
You should write it down in a journal and just wait for it to find it after you die.
So instead of...
That's what we ought to do. Create fake journals and keep them by the bed to see when her wife will read them. I know for sure my wife would read mine.
All right.
Okay, so it goes on where it talks about when you need to have those difficult conversations, and I did a lot of reading on this stuff.
Yeah.
Within the last couple of months, where
That you have.
Yeah. Don't manipulate your spouse. So in other words, you should never use manipulation in any difficult conversation, because then you're just going to break trust there. Timing of the talk. Pick the right time.
It's the only way I get my way is when I manipulate them.
Don't do it right before bed. Yeah, don't have a difficult conversation before or after sex. It says.
After's okay.
Kind of kills the moment when you do it before.
Usually after I'm like, do we really need to talk about that?
Don't have the conversation immediately. Give it some time to fester. Mention, it doesn't say that, but it does say mention you would like to have a discussion within 48 hours.
So I think that one there is knowing your spouse a little bit, because there are some people like me who likes to solve things immediately. So she wants to handle something in the moment's the best time to do that with me, where she needs time. So I do have to pick my timing very carefully.
I don't want to go to bed pissed off.
No, I don't either. I hate that. Then I just have stupid, weird dreams. And
also says don't trap your spouse. Don't have the conversation like in an airplane or a car.
Yeah.
And agree on where to have the talk. Yeah.
Out in public.
Yeah.
So everybody can see when she hits me.
So it did give a few suggestions on how to say we have to talk as well. It said, I've been thinking about, instead of saying we need to talk. What do you think about? And then you start the talk.
What the fuck are you thinking? Is that on there?
No, but I've heard Dad use that one. I'd like to talk about. I want to have a better understanding of your point of view about. So there are different ways to start that conversation without the dreaded, we have to talk.
Yeah. Talk with each other, not at each other.
So number 6 is the one our wives have talked about. What the men want from their wives? Affection.
No, that's not what the wife said.
No?
No, our wife said sex.
Oh, you're right.
There's a difference between the two.
Yeah, because this first one talks about how you should do it in public. That's holding hands, by the way.
Leave a message of love on his voicemail. I don't want him.
Who the fuck checks their voicemail?
No, be a real human of today. Yeah, send him a text. If you're going to leave a voicemail, just type it out.
So Emily would hate what Shannon and I do. We take the emojis for an eye, a goat, and an eye, a human heart, and a goat. So it's I love you.
Oh.
So because there's no actual you, it's just a goat, but a female sheep is a
You.
you.
Okay. So Emily wouldn't hate that. She just hates when you reply like with the thumbs up or whatever, just one character.
Okay.
Beach
So
ball.
that's what,
Beach ball?
instead of doing
Potassium
K.
sunshine.
I would reply to her with whatever season it was. If it was winter, I would do a snowflake. I still do that to people.
So so I quit just doing that. Like she wants to, even though it already says red in my text, she needs some sort of response. So I start putting 10-4, and then her and Nick are making fun of me for putting 10-4. Spell out 10 with the number 4 after it. So I put 10-4.
Over out.
That's right. All right. So number 6 is affection.
And to be honest, this is what I want.
Hold your husband's hand in public. Leave them a message on their voicemail.
Send a titty pic.
Messages.
Enjoy a full moon together.
Massage his shoulders.
Does that mean go to the strip club?
No, that means that you pull it out and put it right in her face. Eh?
Jesus Christ. This is one that I would actually really like. Give him an unexpected kiss. Men like romance too. I was just telling my wife last night, she doesn't ever kiss me anymore. Used to be, first time she would see me, like when we were dating, I'd get a great kiss. Now I get one like she'd give her grandma. Like, and she was like, I did kiss you. I'm like, yeah. Like I'm an elderly person that you barely know. Like,
There's been a couple of times, and it's just been recently, where like I'll come home and I'll get a kiss and a hug, and it like takes out the stress of the day.
right?
It's like, can you do that every day?
I did hear an article the other day on YouTube. I was watching a podcast, and they were saying that there's this couple, and I think they were in Arizona. No matter which one gets home first, they greet the other person when they get home. So they make a point to find each other when they get home, when they're
That's
both
awesome.
home together. And I was like, that is beautiful.
I'm usually on the toilet when my wife gets home.
She can come give you a kiss.
Gross.
One of them say I love you, and something that Shannon and I used to do when we were younger, before children.
You would
We
send
would-
her a
No, we would-
an emoji of an eye.
we would be in the car, and like one of us would say I love you, and then the other person would say I love you, and then the first person would say, why did I have to say it first? Why did you make me initiate it? And that kind of died off when we had the kids, but now that we finally started like going shopping in the mornings together on Sundays and doing a little bit more together, and we're by ourselves, I brought it back. We're
Nice.
bringing it back.
Nice.
Did that this morning.
You know, another sign of affection that couples do typically pretty early on in their relationship is come up with pet names. Do you guys have a pet name?
Just Blue and Bella.
Not your pet's name. Pet names.
No, not at all.
You guys don't have any? Like Emily and I call each other person.
Yeah, no.
No, not really. I mean,
Really?
honey, that's about it.
Wow.
Though I will say with my kids, Mac has now changed within this last month. He is now calling us mother and father. Oh, mother.
That's Ian does that.
Father.
Yeah. Father.
Father.
I'm like, what the hell's
Where
going
did
on?
mommy and daddy go?
In the bedroom.
Well,
That's where mommy and daddy are at.
Number 7 on the list of things that husbands want from romanceyourmate.wordpress.com says respect and admiration.
Okay.
Show respect to your husband by not making negative comments about his thoughts and his opinions.
Or his looks.
Yeah, there you go. By being considerate to his plans and listen to him. That reminds me of that TikTok. Ladies, listen to me. They don't fucking do that.
You've never talked to one before?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is how this would change in my house. She'd be like, okay, I hear you, and it's a good idea, but no.
oh, look at this example. This first example. Use words like, I love you, or I love the way you hug me. You're a wonderful provider.
If she said that to me, I'd be pissed off. That goes back to the Chris Rock.
Right.
The fact that only women, children, and dogs
Are loved unconditionally.
Yeah. And men are loved on the condition that they provide something. I do not want to be called a provider. Especially in this era, like I feel like we both provide for our family. It's not
Yeah.
a cave anymore. I don't have to go out and provide for you.
Yeah,
Like,
women do go to college and they graduate and then don't just become homemakers to professional
Who allowed that?
NFLers. That had to be approved, right?
Stupid Congress. It's the government's fault.
All right, number 8 is everyone desires some free time, some quiet, alone time.
Yes.
Time to re-energize, regroup, and reconnect. When your husband gets home from work, allow him some free time to unwind. Don't overschedule his day or give him projects in the house.
So I think what I'm going to do, my wife says she uses her time like this to go to the gym. That's her her time.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell her I'm going to start going to the gym and just go somewhere and sit quiet.
Okay. To me, this is my gym. And so Emily and I had this conversation the other day, was like what you were saying, Nick. Going to the gym is her escape time. That's her free time to recharge herself, and she does it every day. Not that I'm going to podcast for 30 minutes every day, but that would be nice because this is my free time. This is my workout. This is what I enjoy doing. So we had that conversation because there were a lot of times in the past when we were going to do the podcast and she'd be like, I don't want you to go. Don't go today. Like, reschedule for another day. And it's like, it's not going to matter if it's today or another day. She was going to give me a hard time every time I was going to go leave. And I was like, I really need that to stop happening because I don't bitch at her when she wants to go to the gym because I get she needs that. Well, I need this. And so she's been much better about respecting my free time when it comes to podcasting.
My wife going to the gym, the only complaint I have is she wakes me up every morning when she goes.
Well, I have hockey. Hockey's at night when the boys should be going to bed and everything, and then I'm coming home while she's asleep, so it's like, that's not time we were going to spend together anyways, but...
Right.
But then
you guys would have been heading to sleep if the boys were,
Yeah.
too, because you're like, fucking, I'm tired now.
Yeah. She's always worried. She's like, I want to go to pickleball tonight. I'm like, go. She's like, I want to go do this with some. I'm like, go, do it.
Right.
I'm like, I'm not doing anything tonight. That's totally fine. Like, we have baseball practice. I'll come home and we'll eat dinner. And if you're not home, that's totally fine. That's just go do it. You need that. And my wife won't even take advantage of that for herself.
I get yelled at. It's the other way around in my house. My wife goes, they have the girls' nights. They do this, they do that. And I'm always, she's like, you need more hobbies. You need to get out more. I sometimes agree, but at the same time, I'm happy with my life.
Well, I think you really like some of that alone time. Like, that's a really important thing to you. So going out around a bunch of people doesn't provide you with that either. So,
Right.
I do get it. Like, because like when I turned 40 years old, which I know I'm not very close to anymore, but when I turned 40, one of the things that I wanted out of life was more time with you. And Emily respects that almost always when I want to spend time with you, but not always the podcast piece. I think she gets the fact that we're close, and she wants to make sure that stays in place because she's not super close with her siblings at this point in her life. So she respects the fact that we are close in our relationship. And then number 9 on the list from romanceyourmate.wordpress.com of the 10 things men want from women is trust.
See, here's my thing with this is maybe they're doing it in reverse order or something, but to me, trust is number 1.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that 100%.
Because if I didn't trust my wife, I would have never married her.
Yeah, and I don't know that the order matters. They're just saying this is 10 things.
Okay.
So I don't know that the order really matters. And maybe to each person, it would be very different. But you're right. I need to trust you. I need to know when she has those lady nights out that it's not a fake ladies' night because she's going to see somebody else.
Jim.
The Thunder from Down Under.
Yeah, the Thunder. Now, she could go see that. I don't give a shit about that. But that she doesn't have somebody else on the side because one of the most important things to me is honesty. I try and not lie. I try very hard to be an honest person to the point where it gets me in trouble occasionally. Like if something, like she's like, does this shirt look good on me? I'd be like, I don't really care for it. Like, and that's what I'll say.
Look better on the floor.
Yeah, I've said that. I say that. Yeah. So, but being honest, and you don't have trust when there's not honesty.
Right. Well, and that's...
Or there might be trust until you find out that they're not honest.
I always chuckle at the fact of before we had kids, we were married for 4 years before we had kids, and, at one point Lauren was working at Fridays, and, I mean, we were younger. We were in our late 20s, mid to late 20s, I would take Lauren out with girls from Fridays that she worked with. And I would take her, drop her off, tell her to call me when she wants me to come get her.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, where's your husband? He doesn't care. No, I trust her. I wouldn't have married her if I didn't trust her.
That's absolutely right. And the moment you break my trust, I'm probably out of the marriage.
Right. I'm done.
Yeah.
Plus, you can go home and like play video games and not be bothered.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, it goes.
That's what I would. That's
wasn't the knuckle shuffle on the fist pump at all.
That's like
going back to that free time. The trust allows you to have free time.
Exactly.
If I didn't have trust, I couldn't give that free time either. Right. But there is something kind of cool about when there's nobody home, turning on a video game and just having it to yourself for a while. And number 10, the final thing on the list of 10 things men want from their wives is to be a companion. It says, Foley, you can say that your husband is not only your lover, but also your friend. Staying friends with and companions through the years requires that you find ways to make time together and do things together. Whether that be pickleball, whether that be going out and having drinks, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think this is where ours lacks a little bit.
Yeah? Why?
Yeah. Because of the kids. Her main focus is the kids.
Okay. And that cuts into the time that you get with her.
Yeah.
Even though that's opening up a little bit, right? Because that's what we said just a couple episodes ago. Is like we're at the end of needing babysitters and we're able to spend more time together. But your wife does spend time watching cameras on her phone.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, I mean, she's more worried about what the kids are doing, and that's her number one focus. Where, I don't want her to make me, I don't want to be overwhelmed like that.
Yeah.
But I want a little more attention.
Yeah, I get that.
And I've brought it up to her, and it's, it's one of those that I'm like, I love being your friend, but I also signed up to be your lover. And
yeah,
I mean, again, lover is not talking about just sex. Like,
right. It's that unexpected kiss, greeting you when you get home.
I need someone to rub my boobs.
Yes. I don't really like my boobs touched, but yes.
Why not?
I don't know. It feels weird.
Oh. She's never grabbed your nipples in the middle?
Yeah, she has, and I don't like it.
And all of a sudden just grab it while right? That's awesome.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know what it is. Weird sensations go through my body when that happens.
Here we are sharing too much again.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
He's like, the next thing you know, there's going to be a finger somewhere you don't want it.
I don't know that I don't want that. Oh, man, we just told the kid next door mowing that we say way too much, and here I am again.
Way too much.
Well, as soon as he listens to this, he'll realize that he likes a finger in the ass, too.
Anyway.
We're just trying to educate people.
That's right. We're just trying to help. That's what we're doing. That's why we're okayest. Our help is weird sometimes. Speaking of help, let's wrap this one up. And what did you guys learn from today's episode about the 10 things that a husband wants from their wives?
That the list, I feel, is pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's what I learned, was there were 10 things, at least 10 things that I want. Because I was thinking it was more like 3.
And the thing is it's not like a lot of it can be combined either. Like some of the things we've done, like, we can combine this, this, and this.
There's some overlap to some of them, but you're right, but not totally combined. Right. I agree with that. What about you, Nowak? What'd you learn today?
No, he stole mine.
He stole mine.
Doug ate my homework.
Yeah.
Easy for you to say.
I am. My mind kind of changed a little bit because of the kids, but
Why is that?
Because I had to send one home.
Hey, it comes with the territory of being a husband and a parent. That when things go off the rails, it's just how you handle it.
I can't believe there really are like 10 things that, and they all do hold true. And you could tell this was written by a guy.
Was it? I was looking for that, and I couldn't tell.
I thought it was. I thought there was a dude's picture at the bottom of it. Maybe it was just for like a...
How many times do we read articles that is what a man wants or what a man needs, and it's written by a woman?
Exactly.
I don't need to be wife-splained what I want and need.
I sometimes do.
Oh, you
This
do?
does not have an author.
That's it.
Whoa.
I couldn't find one either.
Whoa. So maybe it was written by multiple men.
It's done from WordPress.com.
It's AI. This is all AI. That's what it is.
I'm surprised how accurate this actual article was. And I think that's my biggest takeaway is I think you can learn things from articles. That's why we cover some of them, and it meaning to be funny sometimes, but also these are the things you need to look for. And if some of these are lacking, you need to recognize that as well, because 50% of marriages, actually, I listened to a podcast the other day, it said 60% of marriages in America are now ending in divorce. If we want to change that, you need to look for more of these things and look for it earlier on in relationships, not wait till you need to change something when you've been married for 4, 5, 6 years, which is why they have the 7-year itch, right? Is because of that. So I think this is it. This is what you need to look for when you're looking for a true spouse, somebody who's going to share the rest of your life with.
I think my wife's just waiting until the kids are gone.
And then she's going to kick in, do all these things.
She's going to kick me out.
I could see that. I hope that doesn't happen, though. All right, so that's our Okayest advice. They don't call us the Okayest for no reason, gentlemen.
Well, if you're feeling flabbergasted, I probably used that one already. Email us at theokayesthusbands@gmail.com. Hit that subscribe and download button and join us for more laughs and mishaps, especially on YouTube now.
Keep listening from your favorite podcast app for more of the Okayest Husbands. And remember, I'll see you then.
Bye for now, fam, and remember to keep it Okayest. Love you. Are you tired of the same old beer leaving your taste buds yawning? Well, fam, secure your hoppiness with a taste bud exploration waiting for you at the Lakeville Brew Crew.
That's right. Nestled in the heart of cozy little Lakeville, Indiana, the Lakeville Brew Crew is your ticket for craft beer, nostalgia, and small-town hospitality.
Picture this. A sip of their sweet chocolate and caramel milk stout, Bullwinkle's Quest, and suddenly you're transported back to simpler times when life was as easy as Sunday morning, eating that breakfast, watching your morning cartoons, and the only worry was Bullwinkle going to finally pull a rabbit out of his hat.
And let's not forget Total Wattage, Orange IPA. It's like a nostalgic hug from your favorite childhood Muppet, with a hoppy twist that'll make your taste buds dance the truffle shuffle like Chunk from Goonies.
Whether you're a seasoned beer drinker or just dipping your toes into the craft beer pond, the LBC's brews are crafted with love, laughter, and a hint of that good old Lakeville charm.
So what are you waiting for? Grab your beer drinking buddies and join us at the Lakeville Brew Crew, 124 South Michigan Street, 46536, where every pint is a journey down memory lane and every sip is a toast to good times.
Cheers to that.
And remember, drink responsibly, but laugh like you heard your favorite fart joke.